Good morning. And for today, um, pag-usapan natin yung Imrad format na gagawin ninyo as your performance activity sa inyong health. So, pag-usapan muna natin kung ano ba yung composition ng Imrad research format. So, for the structure, let's define first the meaning of the Imrad and what are the skeletal structures of the Imrad itself. So based on the definition, when we say Imrad, it is the body of research manuscripts, which is the standard structures. So the Imrad stands for I for the introduction, M for materials and methods, R for the results, A for end, and D for the discussions. If we're going to compare the Imrad format from the thesis itself, so the thesis is composed of chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. While for the Imrad format, it's usually having to 10 to 12 pages only. So it should be short, concise, and the data are complete. So based on the Bradford Hills questions, the Imrad formats, you need to answer the following questions. For the introduction, the main question is, why did you start? For the methods, what did you do? Ano ang iyong ginawa? For the results, what did you find? Ano ang inyong mga nakita at napansin, and for the discussion, what does it all mean? Para saan yung mga nakuhang datos? So always check yung composition. Usually for the introduction, it's composed of 1 to 2 pages only. For the methods, it's 1 to 2 pages only. For the results, it's composed of 5 to 6. And for the discussions, usually 1 or 2. So it can direct on your conclusions and for the recommendations. Moving on. So what is the importance of the Imrad format? So it enables authors at the same time researchers just like you to effectively organize and structure their work while keeping the emphasis on the matter of the good science. At the same time, Imrad format are short and concise. Again, this is composed of 10 to 12 pages only. Let's move on. So let's discuss now parts by part of the Imrad format. Let's start with the introduction. Again, the main questions here is, why did you start? So here are the techniques that you can do in crafting your introduction. The first one is provide rationale for the current study. When we say rationale, what is the reason why did you conduct the study? So here, you need to answer the following question. What gap in knowledge did you try to fill? Or what controversy did you try to resolve? Remember, in your doing your research, your main target is to solve a certain problems. Let's move on. Another thing is that you need to aim or state the aim of the study or the purpose. Review pertinent literature or to orient the leader. You can get series of literature on the internet which supports your statement based upon your research. Another thing is brief, clear, and concise to the point. You need no flowering words can be done. All you have to do is to target what is your study. Another thing, key references supporting background information must be provided in this section. You need to get legal basis, theories which supports your studies. Define any specialized terms, definitions, or abbreviations you intend to use. So, in case that you're going to use some other terms, you need to explain or define the following terms in your introductions. For the readers, easily understand your research. So I have here the example of our Imrad format of Sir Chris. The title of our research is Effectiveness of Contextualized and Localized Video Lessons in Araling Panipunan on Grade 10 Learners' Performance. So we are testing now the effectivity of the contextualized and localized video lesson during the modular distance learning against their academic performance. You can search on the internet examples of your research title, One of the example is that you go to the google.com, and from that you can type Google Scholar. From the Google Scholar, all you have to do is to write the title of your research and just click the tab, and series of articles, research papers, journals are provided in the Google Scholars. Here on the introductions, again, on the key point, as we talked a while ago, the components of the introduction, it should be short, concise, brief. At the same time, you have literatures that supports your introductions. For the example of our action research paper here for the Imrad format, from the first part, we stated that learning is an essential for students to lay a solid foundation of knowledge and apply it to their future careers. Many learners consider video learning to be an effective tool. A video lesson is a video presenting educational materials for a topic to be learned. The format may differ. It could be a video of a teacher speaking and discussing the lesson's content while looking at the camera, photographs, text, or combinations of this. Take note, as per DepEd order number 12012 or section DepEd will use a variety of learning delivery modalities, or what we call the LDMs, in 2020. As you observe, we use or we get a DepEd order. Therefore, in your research paper, you need to incline your paper on a certain legal basis. So it's either Republic Act, Special Order, DepEd order, and so on and so forth. Here on the DepEd order number 12 is stated here that adoption of the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan, or what we call the BELCP, for the school year 2020-21 in the view of the COVID-19 public health emergency, to ensure maintaining learning opportunities for its students while ensuring the health and safety of both its staff and students. So this refers on the DepEd order number 030T series of 2020. This can be accomplished using blended learning, online learning, and schooling. Another thing, furthermore, students in grade 10 develop their capacity for independent learning, which entails thinking, acting, and pursuing their studies without receiving the same level of assistance from a teacher. This enables them to assess the most crucial learning goals that must be met after each lesson by watching them and making connection between the reaction to what is happening and what is being done in their communities, which fosters their love of the environment. Here, you need to state the purpose of your research. So the purpose of the study was to evaluate the effectiveness of contextualized and localized video lessons in Araling Panipunan of the grade 10 learners' performance at Southville HC National High School. The study's findings serve as the basis for enhanced supplementary material. So at the end of the research, what will be the end product of your research paper? Here, based on the given findings, we should be created enhanced supplementary materials which will be given for those students who are under the MDL. So specifically, the following questions were sought to answer. And here are the target questions or research questions, or the SOP, or the statement of the problem that we need to target. So here you need to get the profile of the respondents. So that's the reason why on the number 1, so research question number 1, here we stated what is the profile of the respondents in terms of the sex and in terms of the age. Again, you should be used the word sex than gender. Next, number 2, what is the pre-test performance of the grade 10 learners before the utilizations of the contextualized and localized video lessons in Araling Panipunan? What is the post-performance of grade 10 learners after utilizing of contextualized and localized video lessons in Araling Panipunan? So and so forth. You can review this video and see the pages or the parts, the questions crafted here for the research questions. I will send to you the soft copy of our research paper in the Imrad format. Moving on, the second part is methodology. Here, you need to sort to answer the question, what did you do? Ano ang ginawa mo? Here, for the methodology, the following components are, the first one is design, second one is something, third one is research procedure or the procedures on conducting your research, ethical issues, what are the approvals letters that should be signed by our teachers and principals. If you're going to conduct your research outside of our community, you should be a letter to our HOA. Treatment of data, what statistical data or tool that you use, it's either weighted mean, percentage, chi-square, and so on and so forth. Here for the design, in our Imrad format research, in this design or in this study, the quasi-experimental research design was used to determine the effectiveness of contextualized and localized video lessons of grade 10 students in Araling Panlipunan. To collect data for the quasi-experimental research design, the researchers created video focusing on the least master skills. So we are targeting now yung mahihinang least master skills na inyong natutunan in your Araling Panlipunan and sent pre-test and post-test via Google Forms. The primary respondents in studies are 36 or grade 10 learners from the online distance learning, contextualized and localized video lesson using Canva with video recording that covered the topic in the second quarter about issue at hamon pang ekonomiya, aligning with the most important competencies and the budget of work. After a month, the grade 10 students were given a post-test using the same test questionnaire, and based on the study's finding, it should be crafted or proposed and enhanced supplementary materials. The second part is under the methodology is we have very sampling. Here, sampling, there are 36 grade 10 students who are online distance learning and have an internet access. The researchers employed purposive sampling, so in which respondents were chosen based on their ability to provide the most relevant information to the study's objectiveness. Here on the sampling, you need to identify how many students, whether it's male and female, and what are the coverage of your sections being targeted. You need to identify at the same time what is the sampling being used. On the first part, on the upper part, I use purposive sampling. Reason, purposive, kasi pinili ko siya dahil kailangan. Sila yung mga pinili ko dahil lahat ng mga estudyante na pili dito is under the online distance learning. While sa baba naman is convenience sampling. When we say convenience, pinili ko sila at tinarget ko sila without any reason. So I have here types of probability sampling. Meron tayong tinatawag na simple random sampling. Meron tayong tinatawag na cluster sampling. So kung ang target ninyo is isang cluster ninyo, so you need to get, example, no need to get all the families, their answers. All you have to do, you can gather 2 or 3 families under another cluster is pwede kayo kumuha ng 2 or 3. Systematic sampling in a way that you need to get a respondent based on the given system, or it should be in alphabetical orders. Another is we have very stratified random sampling. Next, under the methodology, is we have the research procedure. We are talking about here now the procedures done in conducting the research. So the researchers seek principals approval and recommendations in conducting the study. Researchers conducted a pretest performance before incorporating the video lesson. Following the administration of the pretest, and the researchers use video lessons to teach the knowledge and skills in their asynchronous class for a set period. A post-test was held in Araling Panlipunan 10 after 4 weeks of discussion. Data was gathered and computed to apply the proper statistical treatment. Separate tools were distributed and thoroughly explained, making a proposed enhanced supplementary materials based on the results, tallying, and data treatment, and data analysis and interpretation. Next part, here another research procedure. Again, we are talking about here the procedures on conducting your research. Next part is we have here the ethical issues and the treatment of data. For the ethical issues, you need to right to conduct the study or the permit to conduct study, which enforce to our principal's approval. Remember, you need to have your permit to study before conducting your research. Hindi pwedeng dumiretso kayo sa isang section, then magbibigay kayo ng research questionnaire, then papacheckan, papasagutan. No. Kailangan munang dumaan sa teacher ninyo, dumaan sa ating principal para inform na may kinoconduct na study. If ever nalalabas kayo at pupunta sa communities, again, I repeat, you need to submit a letter to the teacher, to the principal, and to the HOA president. For the treatment of data, here, what are the statistical treatment na ginamit ninyo? It's either weighted mean, percentage, We have here the chi-square and so on and so forth. So the purpose of the study was to evaluate the effectiveness of contextualized and localized video lessons in Araling Panipuna on grade 10 learners' performance using the following statistical tools. Namely, we have here the weighted mean and the t-test of the mean difference to test the significant difference of the variables identified. You can watch videos on the internet kung ano nga ba yung mga pwede nyong gamitin statistical treatment. Next, for the results, you need to answer the following question. What did you find? Ano ba ang iyong napansin base doon sa inyong mga research? Here, you need to target the target collection or the data collection. Again, all the data that been collected should be tallied and explained thoroughly. Key findings. You can use tables, graphs, or figures in text to interpret your data. So for the interpretation of data, it should be in word manner. So for example of this, for the table 1, frequency and percentage distributions of the grade 10 students according to their sex. So I have here 3 columns, the sex, the number of students who answer, and the percentage. For the male, out of 36, there are only 15. So 15 divided by 36, the percentage that I computed is 41.67. For the female is 21 divided by 36 students. The computed percentage was 58.33 with a total of 100%. Then based from this table, you need to interpret your data. For the table 1, shows the frequency and the percentage distributions of the grade 10 students based on their sex. Again, correction, it's not gender but sex. The majority is female with 21 or 58.33% female and 15 or 41.67% male. The table implied that females outnumber males in online distance learning. Meaning to say, mas marami ang mga babae na nag-undergo ng online distance learner rather than sa lalaki. Again, it should be explained in words, not just focusing on the table itself. You need to interpret the data. Another here is we have here the frequency and percentage distributions of the grade 10 students according to their age. 3 columns, ages 15, 16, 17, frequency, and the percentage. For the 15 years old, I have here 5. 5 divided by 36, the answer is 13.89%. For ages 16, I have here 29. Divided by 36, the computed percentage is 80.56. For the ages 17, I have here 2 divided by 36. The computed percentage is 5.55 with a total of 100%. So here, based on the table, respondents were dominated by their age of 16. Mas marami yung mga may edad ng 16. Another example is I have here since we are using the t-test mean difference. So pwede dito, statistical treatment ang ginamit namin. So pwede nyo checkan. I repeat, I will send the copy of the Imrad format in your GC. So for the discussion naman on the last part, what does it all mean? So you need to answer, ano ang ibig sabihin ng mga nakuha mong datos? You need to discuss the major and the minor findings, the implications of your findings, and you need to craft a final summary or conclusions based on the data that you are collected and interpreted based on the results. So for the conclusions, here are the following conclusions that we drawn based upon on our research. So the majority of the grade 10 respondents are female and 16 years old. As we go back on the slides, as you observe, the dominant there is the female and the ages of 16. Based on the pretest results, learners had difficulty understanding the subject's learning competencies because both scores were lower than the depth and policy score of 75%. So in conducting our research, of course, they don't know usually the content of the contextualized and localized video lesson. That's the reason why they got 75 below 75 mastery level. Number 3, since they already review, watch, and understand the lesson, they get now the percentage score of 87.14. Meaning to say, they get a better understanding on the issue of the lesson of hamong pang-ekonomiya, which leads to their better written works. Then number 4 and 5, so there is a significant difference. Again, you need to answer your hypothesis. So here, the answer hypothesis here is there is no significance. Walang pagkakaiba yung pre-test and post-test ng grade 10 using contextualized and localized araling panlipunan. So the findings suggest that incorporating video lessons, yung pagdadagdag daw ng video lessons sa isang mga asynchronous classes could potentially improve the understanding, knowledge, and analysis of the grade 10 learners in their performance of Araling Panlipunan in the second quarter under the topic of issue at pang-ekonomiya, which is both timely and necessary. Next is recommendations. So you need to craft your recommendations of 1 to 4 or 1 to 5 recommendations based upon on considering your findings and results of your studies. So I have here for our recommendations. For number 1, to ensure that students fully understand and are given instruction on what to do, teachers should use video lessons, whether they are used for micro-teaching or a whole lesson based on the section of a lesson plan and teaching specific competencies using the offline versions. I repeat, I already give you a way on how you can improve your English words. You can go to the grammarly.com or Kilbot to enhance your English words. So number 2, use other applications such as KineMaster, HitFilms Basic, CapCut, and Power Directors to create video lessons that can be edited on the video lessons. And the last part is we have here the references and acknowledgement. What is the reason? You need to add your references which we use as your legal basis in conducting research. So I have here 3 DepEd orders that we mentioned are connected on our research paper. And for the references, it should be on the APA format. There are some tool on the internet for the site or the proper citation for the APA format. If you're going to use on the Google Scholar, there is a certain part that you can just click the citation, then click the APA format, then paste it on your Word and arrange it properly according to the given format. And you need, at the same time, have your acknowledgement. You need to give credits for those people who help you along your journey of your research. So again, if you have further question, you can contact me or rewatch this video for more information regarding the Imrad format. Thank you very much and have a good day.